Hello everybody, Infinite Shinjo here. Welcome to my Alola video, although I'm sure that there are less people watching now after my Kalos video. But regardless, I am here to bring up the Alola anime, which is one of my personal favorites. So let's get started. So the Alola anime. It's one of my personal favorites, probably second to Sinnoh. So let's just get in with what I liked about it. A lot of the stuff that they bring up is referenced again. They got the old lady that took care of Litten while it was loose. She comes back multiple times. The girl from the Pikachu village, she's in the freaking league. I'm sure there are more examples, but those are the two that I can automatically think of. But the series just has a nice way of wrapping everything up, with Ash learning about the customs of the region and all that stuff, all building up to him winning the league. And that's just nice to see. And even though it's not much, I appreciate that they gave all of Ash's classmates development. Even though it was obvious that Lily was going to get the most development out of all of them, it's still nice to see that the other cast gets Z crystals for one thing, and evolutions for another thing. And even more, and this is actually pretty cool, that they tackle some really serious topics in this show. Obviously, death being a big one with Stoutland and Mallow's mom. But just like, they know when it's time to be funny, but they also know when it's time to be serious. And I like that they could strike that nice balance. The next thing that I really liked is they gave Ash a one-of-a-kind Lycanroc, established in universe that it's one-of-a-kind. And they didn't have him solo it like they did with Ash Greninja. It's kind of ironic that Ash's Lycanroc is the reason that he won the league, and Ash's Greninja tried to win the league but didn't. So, don't want to say that's a little jab to Kalos there, but it's just kind of funny. And the other thing that I really like is that Ash's Mons actually had rivalries established. Pikachu had Mimikyu, even though it was a one-sided rivalry. Ash's Lycanroc and Gladion's Lycanroc. Rowlet and Howl's Decidueye. And Ash and Kukui's Incineroars. It was cool that they actually had rivalries. That way it made the stakes a lot higher. But unfortunately, nothing's perfect. So on to the cons. And this is going to be the only time I really bring up the art style. But a lot of people didn't watch this because of the art style and how off it looked compared to Kalos. And I'm here to say that it is, well, I mean, it is true, but that just doesn't make sense as an argument. Because just because something doesn't have a pleasing art style doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. I mean, Sun and Moon had some good battles. They had some good animations at times when they needed to. And the funny faces that people are claiming draws them away from the show, they only used them during comedic moments. And like I mentioned with the characters before, a lot of Ash's main cast got shafted when it comes to development. Sophocles didn't really get much development. Kiawe, who's supposed to be Ash's rival. Lana, unfortunately, didn't get development. Mallow, obviously, and not to mention How didn't get any development. He was shown in one episode before the league, and then just out of nowhere, he's in the league. And that's kind of weird considering that How's your main rival in the games. So you would think that they would bring that up here and actually give How some development. But I guess they just saved all the development for Gladion. Another thing that I will bring up is that the early episodes of Sun and Moon don't really do much with the main overall plot. It's mainly Ash at school goofing around, just capturing Mon and evolving Mons. But when Kukui reveals that he's going to build a league after the first interaction with Misty and Brock, another thing that I liked, by the way, that's when things get serious, because it actually shows that Ash is building towards something, especially since the league is open to anybody. You don't have to do the trials, you don't have to battle the kahunas, you can just go in the league regardless. The other con that I'll bring up is while Lily gets big development with conquering her fear of touching Pokemon, they just bring up a Magearna, and that's it. they bring up her father, but it's just still up in the air. Now, they did retcon it with the Journeys anime, but it's still up in the air whether they're actually going to introduce Moan. And the other con that I'll bring up, and this is a really minor one, a lot of the mons that were caught in the later half of the show were just caught for no reason. Like, okay, Ash gets a Melmetal. Why does he get a Melmetal? We need another mon for his team, so here you go. And another one, Lana's Eevee. Why does Lana get an Eevee? We don't want to give it to Ash. Here, let's give it to Lana. And I really thought they were going to bring up Lana evolving it into a Vaporeon, which I feel would have been nice for the league, but they didn't. And while it's not as big of an issue, the fact that Mallow just gets a Shaman is kind of weird, although Shaman just goes off with his other kind when Mallow says about the gratitude that her mom gave her while she was still alive. That's a good scene. So I'm not really going to dock too many points for the fact that she gets a Shaman because it makes sense in the overall story. And another thing on the idea of mons that they have. Why didn't Lily evolve her Vulpix? She had an Ice Stone. We know she has an Ice Stone. She doesn't evolve Vulpix. Don't know why. She just doesn't. But overall, I will say that it's a very solid series. Like I said, it's one of my personal favorites. But there are a lot of stuff that isn't brought up again. Like Lily's dad. Now, they might be planning to do something with that with Journeys. But it just felt like they wanted to do something with it, but they didn't have enough time. And like I said, people unironically just bash this just because of art style. Which is unfortunate because it's a very good show. It's a very good season of Pokemon. Sure, it's kind of goofy at times, but that didn't stop people from talking about Kanto. But those are my thoughts on the Alola anime. And I guess just as a quick aside, if I would have to rank them, it would be hard to rank every single one. But I would say my top 3 would be number 1, Diamond and Pearl, number 2, Alola, and number 3, probably Unova. I would say probably Kalos number 4, just keeping it out of the top 3 because of the toxic fan base. But those 3, Unova, Alola, and Sinnoh, are really good. But that is going to be it for this video. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. If you enjoyed Alola as well, let me know. Let me know if you agree with a lot of the points that I made or disagree with them. And we're like 38 episodes into Journeys, I believe. So if you want me to discuss Journeys in some way, I can do it when we reach episode 50, so I can just do a discussion on the first 50 episodes or something. Let me know what you think about that, and I will see you in the next episode. Momentai.